In Nairobi, more than 2 million people live in informal settlements, more than half the city's population crammed onto less than 1% of its land. Entire families share one-room shanties, often made of plastic sheeting, cardboard, and mud. They pay exorbitant rates for clean water, walk unreasonable distances to find the nearest road, and suffer the knowledge that if there's an emergency, the police will not come. Children grow up in the alleys there, and where the trash piles up and raw sewage snakes downhill. And if the Kenyan government or private developers want to reclaim the land, they can. Overnight, these slum dwellers can go from living in a shanty house to no home at all. Up until a few years ago, slum dwellers in Kenya saw agitation as the only avenue to voice their grievances. They would mount protests for better sanitation and housing security. And the government would literally plow right back over them. As one resident said, the government bulldozers came just after midnight and started flattening our houses with all of our belongings inside. Our next Innovation Award winner was the first to catalyze real change based on the recognition that no slum would be safe, let alone improved, so long as the government lacks respect for those who live there. To build this respect, communities of slum dwellers, she said, must empower themselves and, quote, build their capacities internally. That was the innovative and revolutionary idea of Jane Weru, who I had the honor of meeting on a visit to Nairobi a few weeks ago. Beginning in the 1990s, Ms. Weru created Muungano wa Wanavijiji, the Kenyan Federation of Slum Dwellers. Forging relationships and winning trust, a few people at a time, she encouraged slum dwellers to undertake project work called enumeration. They mapped slum neighborhoods, surveyed their populations, and formalized what were once informal communities in the eyes of the government. Ms. Weru mobilized residents to organize themselves around savings and loan federations. She supported them to use the capital they collected to negotiate with city authorities for services. After considerable community effort, no longer was the fight to improve these communities a David and Goliath struggle. The Kenyan government softened the adversarial relationship with slum dwellers. And for the first time, those residents became key actors in bettering their own living conditions. Neighborhoods have bought their own land and built or upgraded their own housing, with access to running water, sanitation, and better infrastructure. The Federation now includes more than 60,000 households in 400 informal settlements nationwide. And Jane continues to devise new ways for slum dwellers to help themselves. Since last year, she served as executive director of the nonprofit Akiba Mashinani Trust, which provides slum dwellers with loans and financing as they strive to raise their quality of life. The American economist Theodore Levitt once observed, "Creativity is thinking up new things. Innovation is doing new things." Jane Weru has succeeded at both. Her efforts have redefined the relationship between disenfranchised slum dwellers and government stakeholders, helping to replace distrust and conflict with constructive, productive engagement, and redefining what civil society can mean in a challenging urban context. For all these reasons, and for the many more achievements we know are still to come, it's my great pleasure to give this Innovation Award to Jane Weru. As part of this recognition, the Rockefeller Foundation will award a $100,000 grant to her organization to support current activity and future innovations in improving the lives of slum dwellers. Jane?